Hey guys, welcome to a quick tutorial about Studio, how all the tools work, and how everything goes down. So with this Studio, what I don't really like about it is that everything's hidden around here, but as soon as you get used to it, you'll probably get used to it. And an easier thing to use is probably F through X, which I use all the time for building. So anyways, let's get started. Let's get down to business and show you how everything works. So on your home tab, you have select and stuff like that. So a quick way to copy things is just press Control D and then it'll make a part. If you press Control C, it'll make a copy on top of this brick. So let's go ahead and press Control C, or actually it's Control V, sorry. Yeah, as you can see, it makes a copy on top of it. So usually you want to use Control D, and then you just move it just like that. Just kind of move it like that, and you can use the Move tool. Select the Move tool to do that. There's also a hotkey for that as well. So if I press Control 3 for scale, it will go to that. If you hover over each icon for like 2 seconds, it'll show you what the hotkeys are. So let's go ahead and rotate this. So that's what rotate does. It moves along the 3 axes of rotation and such, so you can move the object and such like that. Let's get a better example so I can kind of show you guys better, because that wasn't a very good one. Alright. So, here is collisions. If you enable this will warn you if there's collisions. So if I try to resize it, it won't let me because it detects that there's collisions right there. But if you push it hard enough, it will go through it. But if you have collisions off, you can see frame into brick. So I recommend if you have collisions off, so you can make like detailed stuff like that. So you can also join surfaces together. I usually don't use this. It kind of doesn't seem super useful for me, but it is kind of useful if you do want to use it. I don't even know if this is, if that's what it actually does. I think that's that shows you where it's connecting and such. Next we have Toolbox. This is where you access all your models and stuff. I don't recommend you build your place on out of free models or anything, because it's kind of dishonorable, and people will not really like it because they feel like that you didn't actually tried to work on your place at all. You just kind of inserted all this stuff everywhere. So don't do that. Usually the free model places, they're always horrible. Next we have part. You can insert different parts here. If you just click part, it'll just insert a basic part. I'll teach you about properties here in a second. If you open that little tab, you can insert a sphere, all kinds of stuff, a wedge, and also a cylinder. So next we have color here. This is your huge color wheel, which is quite nice. So if you click that little thing, you select whatever you want. Also, if you hold down Control, you can select multiple parts. So let's select all these parts, and then we can change them to, let's say, like pink or something like that. Then that does that. If you want to, let's say, what was I trying to think of? Oh, if you want to select a bunch of parts while using the square thing. So if I wanted to select this huge house like quickly, you just hold down Shift and then you can select all that stuff. Sometimes it's kind of annoying to use because if you want to select a bunch of stuff, but a bunch of stuff is in the way, then it won't really work out that well. But that's how you do that. You just hold down Shift and it creates a selection box just like that. Nice and easy to use. And it's also not surprisingly laggy. As you can see, I selected like 1,000 parts right there. That's, I mean, if I was to select this whole place, for instance, it's not really that laggy. After 3K parts, and depending on how good your PC is, it does start to get laggy after that, though. Alright, so next we have group and ungroup. So if I was to group these parts together, it just creates a nice group for you. If you want to name that group, let's just call these pink parts, for instance, and then you just ungroup it just like that. So that's nice and simple. This is very important. If you don't want your stuff to fall apart, just go ahead and anchor it. You can also do that through the Properties tab, which I'll show you that later. The Properties tab is going to be easier to use than all this jazz up here. If you want to build terrain, you can do all that stuff up here. I think you have to enable terrain and stuff. People have created amazing things out of terrain, but usually people don't really use it. You can have test here. You can also move stuff around and such. So test is basically, if you click play, this base plate's glitchy. You can just kind of test what it looks like for a player and stuff. So let's go ahead and stop that. What else do we have? So next, if we go to model, it's basically kind of the same stuff. You can move stuff all over the place. So if I wanted to, I don't think you can move a lot of the stuff here. But if you wanted to move Explore or something, you can do that. You can move it into a separate window, but I'm just going to put it back over there. So we're in model now. Here's transform. I believe I actually do not know what this is because I've never actually used it before. Oh, this is kind of cool. That's actually cool. But I just rather manually do my stuff. I've never used transform before, but that's actually kind of cool. I like it. That's awesome. So that's another tool you can. What just happened? I do not want that. Okay. I'm not exactly what the heck that is, but it's just kind of a nice way to resize parts, I guess. I don't know. So collisions, you can also lock stuff. That way you don't accidentally grab it later. Also, it's kind of nice if you do lock your stuff, because if somebody exploits your game and tries to take out a tool, then they can't delete all of your stuff. But they'll probably do a lot more damage than just that. So there's that. Also, you can change your increments for everything. So I was to turn increments off, you can move very precisely, as you can see here. If I do 1/5 stud, you can do it by 1/5. If I turn on 1 stud, it just does it by that. It also affects rotate and scaling as well. So if you want really precise scaling, then you just turn it off, go like that. If you want really precise rotating, you would just do that. I recommend 1/5 stud, so just so you can keep things nice and accurate. And that's if that's what you're trying to build. You got your stuff here. I can't talk. Material, you can change the material. So if I wanted to make that wood, I just select wood, and then if I wanted to make it neon, which is probably one of the coolest materials ever, don't be obnoxious with it though. Neon, you can't really see it on some graphic settings. I don't know why mine doesn't show it right away, but sometimes when you're in studio, it doesn't really show neon. But as you can see, it's showing it right now. You must have your graphics on 8 or more for it to show, and usually it won't show if you're on a mobile device or on a crappy computer anyway. But that's neon for you. It just looks awesome. It's got a nice cool glow effect to it. Alright. And then I think that's no. Okay, so we got solid modeling. Solid modeling is kind of more complicated, but I'll quickly show you it. I have a deeper solid modeling tutorial if you want, but you can union blocks together. So if I was to combine these two blocks, see you kind of see the edges right there. I can union those together. Sometimes they do change the colors a bit. You can't really use different materials and stuff together. You can just use part color, and that will use the correct colors under properties. Okay, so let me show you. You can separate it to get rid of the union. So if I negate this and then I put it inside of that and I combine these two, it's going to create a hole in that part, because that part was negated. That means it'll take away, pretty much. That's what that means. So next we have effects. Effects are also pretty good for building places. This is a nice little tab here to get all that stuff. Otherwise, you can go to advanced objects and do that through there too. So if you select a part, let's say you want to put smoke in it. To edit smoke, what you do is you go to your Explorer tab, which I'll show you how to do that later, and then you just open up the part. As you can see, you can click that little part right there, and you can change around the smoke and stuff. So if I wanted to increase velocity, you just kind of do that, and you just edit all of your stuff through there. Experiment with it, see what it is, get used to it, stuff like that. Let's go ahead and get rid of smoke. You can also right click to cut, copy, paste, stuff like that, insert part, and insert object. So you can do a bunch of stuff right here too, which is nice. And if you're wondering what more effects are, just experiment with them. Particle emitters are a little bit more complicated. You can even change it into a spawn if you want to. So advanced objects, basically kind of the same thing as effects, but it's a lot more stuff. So you can insert stuff into your workspace over here, your Explorer, otherwise named. So if I was to select...
Hey, big.
I didn't even know I was on Discord. Oops, sorry about that. So awkward. There's people listening to me. They didn't even say anything. That's kind of creepy. So next we have model, and you can upload stuff to your files and stuff like that. Service, and then you got scripting. So you just basically insert scripts into parts or your workspace, whatever you want, and you can start coding right here, which you can learn on the Roblox wiki. I hope you guys become game developers, because it's really awesome. So here's all your terrain stuff. So you can generate terrain. Let's just generate something simple. This may take a bit. So this is what the default kind of terrain is. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that, but that's pretty much what that does. Is it still going to generate? I kind of want to get rid of all this. Oh, we can just click undo. Alright, so as you can see, that's being removed now. So, as well, if you make mistakes on Studio... Oh, gosh, my camera is, like, super zoomed out for no reason whatsoever. Alright, let's go back over here. Also, to control your camera, what you do is you press WASD on your keyboard. You can move like that. You can use your mouse, hold down right-click to move around. And you can use your mouse wheel to quickly zoom in and out. If you hold down Shift, you can move really slow. This is normal speed. Use your mouse wheel if you want to go accelerated. If you do hold down like forward and stuff for a while, it does get faster and faster, so you can zoom around your place quicker. So there is acceleration. So that's all your terrain stuff for you. Not going to mess too much with that. And so here's all your testing stuff. You can run scripts. You can pair test device on different resolutions and stuff. That's kind of useful to see what it's like for people experiencing on different devices and stuff. You can start servers and clients. This is more advanced stuff. You don't really have to mess around with this. You can choose device to emulate. Stuff like that. You can mute. You can analyze physics. All kinds of stuff. View. This is probably one of the most important things. So if I wanted to open up Toolbox, you can move around your tabs and such, make them smaller, stuff like that. It's all customizable to you. Make the best setup you want. Try it out. Experiment with it. Love what you do. You don't want to sit there with a setup that you don't know how to use and stuff. So make your best setup. You know, if you want a big screen size or a small screen size, or you want big windows, just do whatever. If you do have a low resolution monitor, you are at a disadvantage. So if you want to get a higher resolution monitor or bigger monitor, you can. But it all depends up to you. So you can have Game Explorer here. You got tutorials. You got all kinds of different stuff outside of Studio too that you can go to and stuff like that. So you can display your accesses if you want. You can go to full screen. You can screenshot. You can video record. ROBLOX recorder is trash though. Get an external recorder or recording software. You can switch windows, stuff like that. But here's where you manage all your windows and stuff. Plugins. So I'm going to show you how to get plugins real quick as well. So as you can see, I'm at my YouTube place. So what you do is you go to develop. I have a plugins tutorial as well. If you guys want to watch that too. That teaches you more about plugins. I also have an F3X plugin. So basically, where you get all your studio stuff. Nobody knows about this. I don't know why, but you go to develop and then you go to library. I wish this was still all in the catalog like it used to be. It used to be a lot more organized out. Everything's kind of hidden on ROBLOX. And then you go to plugins. You can get all kinds of cool plugins here to help you build. You can get generators. You can get F3X. You can get animation editor. All kinds of cool stuff. I recommend you do install plugins. And if you don't like your plugin, just go ahead and uninstall it. You do have to restart Studio, and I think you have to be on Studio in order to install these, I believe. Yeah, you do. You do have to be on Studio. Okay, cool. Alright, so let's go back. So, you have your plugins folder, and then you can manage your plugins there, too. Alright, so let's talk about the Workspace and Explore. So, you have your players here. You can edit your... You can edit all that stuff through configure place. So I'm going to go back and then go to profile. So if I wanted to edit my place, you just click this and you select your place, or you go to develop, this is way better, by the way. Develop, this shows everything. And if I wanted to configure that place outside of Studio, you can go here. You can edit your description name. You can change your icon. You can upload more thumbnails and stuff and videos for Robux access. You can change your player counts. You can change if friends or everyone can access it. You can only have a 200 friend cap, by the way. If you want to change it to Builders Club, allow VIP servers, stuff like that. I'm actually going to allow mine now that I think about that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Save. Okay. Let's go back to configure. So access permissions. You can allow gear and stuff. I don't recommend any of this unless if you are making a gear game. You can edit your chat type. Make it copy locked. Yes, please have it copy locked. That way nobody can steal your place. You can change your version, so if you absolutely mess up or you have a personal server, stuff like that, and it gets messed up, you can revert this. This is extremely useful. Developer products, that's something we'll probably go over later, and then in-game permissions, you can change that as well. Alright, so let's go back here. You can change your lighting in your place too, so if I want to make my place brighter, you can put that up. I think it's like 0 to 5, so if let's try negative. So it's dark now. Let's go back to 1. 1 is default. You can also change your ambient, which I don't really recommend messing around in because it'll probably mess stuff up, unless if that's the type of game you're wanting. It's really useful if you're like making a horror game or something, you're trying to make it dark, stuff like that. Most people prefer if you do turn off outlines and stuff, because most people don't like them, but I do kind of like them a little bit. But I don't know. Server stuff, that's more complicated. Server storage. Start a GUI. If you want to place any GUIs that start with the player, put that in here. If you want any gears that start with the player, put them here, the starter pack. Starter player, you can kind of edit the player's like distance they can see people and stuff. Teams, these are important if you're making like spawns and stuff. And if we go all the way back to the top, this is where all your parts and stuff are too. Here's your main workspace. You probably don't really want to touch any of this. And then you also got like different models and stuff. So all of your stuff that you built will be in here, and you can edit it through here too. And when you select a part, it'll automatically select it in the Explorer already. So let's go ahead and make this larger so you guys can see a bit easier for you guys. Alright, so if we select a part or anything of that sort, you can edit your brick color here, stuff like that, and it automatically kind of does it for you, which is nice. And you can edit your material, your reflectance. Basically, reflectance is, oh, they have a new slide bar. They've made a lot of changes to the studio. Like, I haven't built a lot yet. So as you can see, that's changing my reflectance. You can't really see it too well, but just watch. So you have a nice slide bar for that. Or you can change it by a variable too. It goes from 0 to 1. Same with transparency. You can kind of edit how that works too. So as you can see, that's making it transparent and such. That's cool how they have a slider bar. You can also change its variable position, which if you're pretty good at math, you can figure out easily. So if I wanted to move it 2 studs that way, let's change it to like 86, it moves it that way. And you can also click undo if you don't like it. Velocity. Basically, when a character steps on your block, if you have velocity in certain directions, they'll go that direction that you set it to. You can do negatives and stuff too. Make sure all your stuff is anchored, unless if you want a destructive map, which I'll go over shortly too. Archivable. I'm not really sure what archivable means. I've asked other builders too. They don't really know what it means either. And can collide. This is important, especially if, like, let's say you make a pool and the water. If your water is can collide enabled, that means they can't go through it. So let's say we want to walk through this. If we select all this and uncheck can collide, then they can walk right through it, which that's nice for making like certain things to walk through. Locked, you can do that as well. Surface inputs, you don't really have to mess with that too much. And surfaces, you can change your surfaces manually through here. So if I wanted to go inlet and then motor or smooth, whatever, you can kind of do that too, and it changes the surface of that block. Undo, undo, undo. Okay. Alright, so let's say you wanted to make something unanchored. I'll go ahead and show you this on Studio. Or let's actually select like a cube or something. And let's unanchor this, for instance. You want to make this destructive, so like if you have like a rocket in your game or something, you want people to destroy it. So this will probably fall off by itself because it's not conjoined by anything. So what you want to do is, I'll teach you a bit about how to conjoin these different parts and such. I probably should have did this in a separate tutorial, but just in case. So you can use glue, you can use welds. Welds are usually the most popular, they work the best. So let's say we wanted these two bricks to be conjoined together. They don't fall apart unless they're destroyed by like an explosion or something. So you just put welds on the bottom connecting to the other brick, and then voila, those two are connected together. And even if it's like slightly slanted like that, they still won't fall apart. So these are both unanchored. Let's go ahead and go to test, play. So as you can see, these two parts are unanchored, but yet they're not falling apart. But since it's not anchored to the floor, I forgot to do that. It fell off from the floor. So make sure it's anchored to the floor. So that's kind of cool. This is very useful for building cars, destructible maps, all kinds of cool physics stuff. I mean, it's Roblox. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Roblox is a huge developer sandbox. That's pretty much what I consider it. A huge developer sandbox to learn skills for pretty much anybody. It's not really a kid's game. I don't know why people still consider it that, but you know, that's just my opinion. And all right. And then here, here's file. You can open files. You can open publish projects. So if I wanted to save these two objects, for instance, I just select these two. I go to save as, and save it in my folders. You can also publish your selection to ROBLOX, and then you can upload this as a model for later. So if I wanted to upload these 2 blocks, let's call this test, and then you can enter a description and change your genre to make sure it's copy locked if you don't want people to steal it. If you do want to make a free model and you want people to take it, stuff like that, make sure that's unlocked and then people can take it. You can allow comments too. Alright, and then next we have advanced, so you can export as OBJ or an object and all kinds of cool stuff, settings, stuff like that. So if there's anything I missed in this tutorial, or if you have questions about anything, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. If you have any ideas for more building tutorials or anything like that, please let me know, because I'm really in need of some ideas right now. And I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave some comments as well. Let me know what you guys think, and I hope you learned some stuff about Studio, and I hope this was helpful as well. And as well, if you can turn on captions if you want. I think I have those enabled, but if, you know, audio device doesn't work. But I think that's pretty much it. Make sure to check out my other videos and playlists. This will be uploaded to the ROBLOX tutorial, so you can learn more about building stuff in case you're still confused. Stuff like that. It's pretty much all simple. This all looks really complicated, but it really isn't. And most people, they learn pretty quickly, if you ask me. You know, especially if you've been using computers for a while, and I usually get used to a bunch of stuff pretty quickly. So, you know, that's pretty much all there is to it. Make sure to check out my social media. I got tons of it down in my channel description below, and that'll be all. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.